You ever wonder what it's like to have everything but feel like you've got nothing left? Let me tell you about last Christmas Eve, a night so cold even the moonlight felt sharp. Picture this. A billion-dollar mansion sitting at the top of a hill, all marble floors and golden chandeliers, but the only sound you hear is the wind pressing up against the windows, whispering that you're alone. That was me, Charles Whitmore, once the king of Brooksville, now just an old man in a cashmere sweater poking at a roast he never meant to eat, wondering if anyone remembered it was his birthday. I used to think money could fill every room, but let me tell you, all that gold can't heat up a house when your family's gone cold. Yeah, that happened. So there I am, coughing up a storm, hiding the blood in my napkin. Don't feel sorry for me yet. I had it all, right? The house, the company, a name on the skyline, but my wife, Evelyn, and my two kids, Lucas and Clarissa, they're nothing but ghosts passing through. I call, voicemail, text, read, never answered. My butler Henley, loyal to the end, stands by the door holding out pills and polite conversation. But even he can't soften the silence. I stare at a picture on the mantel, me back in my 30s, eyes full of hope, holding a plastic tree, baby in one arm, laughing with a woman who once knitted me a scarf because we couldn't pay for heat. That was the best Christmas I ever had. Crazy, right? The more you have, the less it means. Midnight hits. 71 years old, and not one call. I let that settle, heavy and hollow, thinking about the old days and that dumb drawing my daughter made, red crayon stick figures in the snow. You ever hold onto a memory like it's the last thread you've got? I did. I sat there, listening to the fire crackle and the world go on outside, wondering when my house turned into a museum for all the things I lost. Next morning, no chauffeur, no plan, I walk into the office I built from nothing. My portrait's on the wall. Shaking hands with the governor. Nobody recognizes the guy walking past the reception desk, not even the girl behind the counter. I take the elevator up, high as it goes. And I hear them, my family, inside that boardroom, plotting. Evelyn cold as ice, Lucas eager, Clarissa sharp as a tack. He'll sign. He always folds when family pressures him, she says. And I feel something break inside. They're not even hiding it, just waiting for me to die so they can split the spoils. We've waited long enough, my wife says. I stand there, invisible, and realize I'm not a father or a husband to them anymore, just a signature on a line. So I leave. The world outside is covered in snow, but I'm burning up, walking through Central Park like a ghost. The lights are bright, people laughing, singing, hugging, like the world remembered how to be warm without me. I sit on a bench, trying to breathe through the ache in my chest, betrayal, heartbreak, anger, all tangled up. And then, out of nowhere, a voice. Hey, mister, you okay? I look up and there's this kid, Noah, lanky, brown-skinned, not a hint of fear, just pure curiosity. For more kids behind him, mismatched coats, smiles bigger than their bellies. Destiny, the smallest, hands me a tissue and hugs me like I'm somebody worth saving. For the first time in years. Someone sees me. Not my money, not my mistakes, just me. And you know what? That broke me open. They dragged me to their group home. Brooksville Family Center, a place held together by hope and string lights, smells like burnt cookies and cheap cocoa, but feels more alive than my mansion ever did. The kids are chaos, laughing, fighting, making fun of my fancy scarf, calling me Mr. Charles like it's some badge of honor. They give me a present, a crooked keychain that says, Best Grandpa Ever. And for a second, I swear, I feel lighter. Destiny climbs into my lap and whispers, You smell like old money. And the whole room cracks up. I let them. I laugh. I cry. I just let go. No more holding on. Next morning, I can't shake it. I show up at the center, meet Meredith, the director, a woman with tired eyes and a backbone of steel. She tells me how the kids aren't blood, but closer than most families ever get. They carry scars you can't see. I listen, really listen, and realize they gave me more in one night than my own kids have in decades. A place at the table. So I leave a check, nothing flashy. Just enough for coats and working heat. Henley handles it, no questions. This isn't for tax deduction. I tell him. It's not for anything. But that's a lie. It's for me. It's for what I lost. Week after week, I keep coming back. Board games, life lessons, stories about when gas was 30 cents and candy was a nickel. The kids call it Whitmore Wednesdays. I teach them how to argue without screaming, how to budget, how to fix a leaky sink with duct tape. Elijah takes apart a toaster just to see if I can put it back together. Challenge accepted. Destiny asks if I'd adopt them if I could. I don't answer. She doesn't need me to. Somewhere along the way, I stop waiting for calls from my own family. I stop eating alone. I start bringing leftovers. I tell bedtime stories. Henley sets up scholarships. The kids draw pictures, lumpy Santas, stick figure versions of me in top hats. I keep everyone. The man who once ruled the boardroom now sits cross-legged on the floor, laughing at fart jokes, feeling alive. When the time comes to face the boardroom again, I'm not the same man. I walk in, stand tall, no cane, no trembling hands, and lay down a new will. Effective immediately, 60% of my shares go to a nonprofit for kids like Noah and Destiny. 30% straight to Brooksville Family Center, and the last 10? My kids get it if, and only if, they spend a year volunteering, no press, no special treatment. Just living like the people they pretend to understand. Lucas explodes. This is blackmail. I look him in the eye and say, no, son. This is fatherhood. And then I drop the last card. As of last week, I'm the legal guardian of 5 kids. Not replacements. Just family. A year later, snow falls again. But this time the manor is alive. Laughter spilling out the windows. Jazz on the record player, the smell of cookies everywhere. The kids are everywhere. Noah setting the table. Tasha making everyone laugh. Elijah fixing the speaker. Kamani drawing us all from the staircase. Destiny wearing a ribbon crown. I'm in the middle, scarf around my neck, cup of cocoa in hand, heart finally full. Then the gate buzzes. Clarissa stands outside, package in her hands, tears in her eyes. She steps in, offers a gift, and for a moment we're just father and daughter again. No lawyers, no bitterness. Just family. I open my arms. She walks in. The fire crackles. The world outside erupts in fireworks. And for the first time in years, I don't feel afraid of what's next. So let me ask you, what's family worth to you? Is it blood, money, or something you build, piece by piece, out of forgiveness and second chances? Let me know in the comments. Where do you draw the line between right and wrong, justice and mercy? And if this story hit home, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share your truth. And let's keep this conversation alive. Let me back up a sec, because the truth is, life doesn't wrap up neatly with one big act of redemption. Nah, it's messier than that, you know what I mean? That first year living with the kids, I learned more about myself than in 70 years chasing power, and not every day was sunshine and warm cocoa, let's be honest. There were nights I'd walk past those old family portraits in the hall, faces frozen in time, and I'd wonder, did I ever really know how to be a father, or was I just playing the part all those years? Saying the right things at the right dinners, shaking the right hands, but always keeping some distance, always guarding something I couldn't name? The kids, they didn't let me keep my armor on. It was Destiny, of course, who'd find me in the study, half asleep in my chair, pretending to read, but really just hiding. She'd plop herself down right at my feet, rambling about the monster she thought lived in the attic. And suddenly I was telling her stories about my own childhood monsters, the way my mother used to sing to scare away the shadows. And she'd laugh like I'd just handed her the moon. That laugh, I swear, it could make a mausoleum feel like home. Noah became my right hand, always watching, always asking, how do I know if I'm doing enough, Mr. Charles? And every time I tried to answer, I'd realize I was talking to myself just as much as to him. Elijah, quiet, stubborn, obsessed with how things worked. One day he broke the washing machine and waited in the kitchen, expecting me to get angry, but instead I sat down beside him on the floor, screwdriver in hand. And we figured it out together, wires and all, and it hit me how little it takes for a kid to believe they belong somewhere. Kamani barely spoke for months, just kept drawing pictures. Entire worlds in crayon and charcoal, but the first time he handed me a sketch, me, in the center of their little universe, surrounded by all of them. I almost lost it, had to turn away. Pretend I had dust in my eye. The holidays were different now, sure, but even ordinary days took on a kind of magic I hadn't expected. Tasha, always the jokester, turned Sunday breakfasts into comedy hour. She could do impressions of anyone, even me, scolding about spilled milk or missing socks. and the whole table would break down laughing. There was warmth in that chaos, the kind I'd spent decades chasing in all the wrong places. And yet, some wounds heal slow. My old family, Lucas, Clarissa, Evelyn, they didn't just vanish. At first, Lucas sent angry emails, threats of legal action, desperate for some control. Clarissa stayed silent for months, but then, out of nowhere, I got a letter in handwriting I hadn't seen since she was 12. No demands, just questions. Did you ever love Mom? Or was it always about the company? Do you ever regret any of it, Dad? I spent days writing a reply, crumpling each draft, until finally, I sent back 3 lines. I did love her. I regret more than I can say. I hope you come visit when you're ready. That was all I could give. The real twist came that spring, when the center's director, Meredith, called me in a panic. The city was threatening to cut funding, some bureaucratic shuffle. Budget shortfall, whatever excuse they'd cooked up. If we couldn't raise 20 grand in a month, the doors would close, the kids split up again, back into the system. That was the nightmare, the thing we all feared but never named. The boardroom skills I tried to leave behind suddenly mattered again. I called in every favor I had, put on the suit, made speeches at town hall meetings, hosted pancake breakfasts, even filmed a shaky iPhone video with Destiny in her paper crown, explaining why the center mattered. It was raw, real, no PR team. Just the truth. That video went viral, not because I was in it, but because Destiny stole the show, telling everyone, family isn't just who you're born to, it's who shows up. You know, that line got picked up by the local news, donations poured in, and we saved the center with 3 days to spare. Funny thing is, somewhere in that chaos, the community changed how they saw me. I was no longer the cold billionaire in the big house. I was Mr. Charles from the center, the guy who helped fix the basketball hoop, the one who listened to the stories nobody else wanted to hear. Even Henley, who'd always been the definition of dignified distance, started coming by on Wednesdays, sitting in on life skills class, teaching the kids how to tie a tie or shine their shoes. The boundaries that used to define my world just dissolved. But life's never all triumph. Summer brought new challenges. Elijah's birth mother tried to regain custody, showing up out of nowhere. Tears and apologies and promises of a better life. The courts called me in, and for the first time, I had to fight for someone who wasn't even my blood. I stood there, hand shaking a little, voice steadier than I felt, telling the judge, I can't erase the past, but I'll show up every day for this boy, no matter what it costs. It was the kids who saved him. Though Noah and Destiny and Tasha all wrote letters, told the truth in their own messy words about what family meant to them, and the judge let Elijah stay. That night, we celebrated with burnt popcorn and lemonade, and for once, even I danced. Autumn came, and so did Clarissa. She showed up on a rainy Tuesday, suitcase in hand. Eyes rimmed red, but full of something I hadn't seen in years. Hope, maybe, or forgiveness. She didn't ask for anything, just sat at the kitchen table, watching Tasha make pancakes, letting Destiny braid her hair. Later, she joined me on the porch, and for a long time, we didn't speak. When she finally did, it was barely more than a whisper. Thank you for not giving up on me. All I could do was nod. Sometimes, the best things we ever say are the ones we don't need to say at all. Winter returned, and with it, another Christmas. The house was chaos, stockings everywhere. A tree covered in every bad ornament we could find. Carols playing on repeat. Lucas didn't come, not yet, but he sent a card, and that was enough. The kids put on a play. Destiny insisted I play the wise old king, and honestly, I never felt more like myself than in that silly paper crown. And as midnight rolled around, I stood in the window, snow falling soft and silent, thinking about the long road behind me and the impossible roads ahead. I thought about all the times I'd tried to buy love, fix wounds with money, build legacy from stone and steel. Turns out, legacy's built in moments, a hug from a kid, a kitchen full of laughter, a daughter coming home. The fireworks went off again, painting the sky in color and noise, and I realized, maybe life's not about tidy endings or clear winners. Maybe it's about choosing to show up, even when you don't know how the story ends. So I'll ask you again, what does family mean to you? Would you have made the same choices I did? Or do you think I got it all wrong? Let's talk about it. Right and wrong, justice and forgiveness. What makes a family in the end? Leave your thoughts below, Because this story, it's not just mine, it's all of ours, messy, unfinished, real. And if you want to hear more stories that make you feel something, you know what to do. Subscribe, share, and join the conversation. The door's always open.